Hi, this is Jim Rapond with Coldwell Banker Danforth, and this is Seattle Real Estate Chat. And I'm joined here today with my great co-host, Rhonda Porter. Rhonda, would you like to introduce yourself?
Thanks, Jim. Hi, I'm Rhonda Porter. I'm a licensed loan officer with Mortgage Master Service Corporation.
And today we're going to be doing a chat about comparative market analysis. So a lot of times people ask agents to do them, and they really often don't know what goes on behind the curtain and how we come up with these numbers and values. So I thought I'd kind of go over it with you so you could even do your own if you want to get a generally pretty close idea of what your property's worth. What may make it difficult for a owner to do their own is their access to the data on the MLS, particularly the pending data and some of the data that hasn't been published publicly that agents use to help come up with values. So I'm going to do some screen sharing here today. Let's see, I'm going to start out with this presentation piece here. Let's see if I can get this to work here. Bear with me. There. Okay, so let me start off with talking a little bit about the difference between an appraisal and comparative market analysis. They are different, and they're done by different people. An appraisal is typically done by someone who is certified by the state or some government agency, and they go through a very lengthy process. They often do a cost replacement evaluation as well as a market evaluation. They're required to do the market one, but the cost replacement evaluation is where they talk about the specifics of what the materials would cost if you were to build it piece by piece again from scratch, and the cost of that. Appraisals are also used by banks and other institutions to set a benchmark as to value. So banks will use appraisals to determine how much loan you'll get, but not use comparative market analysis. Comparative market analysis, on the other hand, are normally done by realtors or real estate brokers, and we use mostly comparable homes and data found on the MLS. Appraisers use that data too, but don't have access to some of that, again, unpublished publicly information. So we'll go into depth sometimes on properties that did not sell or expired, and as well as things that are maybe just recently sold and still have inspections or financing contingencies, so they've not closed and been recorded yet.
Jim, if I can say something about appraisals too, is that in a real estate transaction, the appraisal is ordered by the lender and created really for the lender. It's not technically for the seller or for the buyer. And if a seller were to order their own appraisal, they can't even give it to the lender to use because of all our really strict regulations that have come down recently regarding appraisals.
Right. So while the seller in the case of, or the owner I should say in the case of a refi, and the purchaser in the case of new purchases pays for that appraisal, it's really for the benefit of the bank. Appraisers almost always, I think, give a copy to the person who pays for it as well, but it does them very little value other than through the organization, or I should say bank or financial institution they're trying to get money from, right?
Right.
Yeah. Okay. So anyway, that being said, here, let me take off the screen share again. I want to talk about how once we come up with some of those comparables, how we look at them and compare them to other properties and some of the things that we look for. So let me see here. I have again, I need a screen share. This is a little bit convoluted for me, but bear with me. I have a very simple one that is done through our multiple listing service. We have this little format that you can use. There's all kinds of formats that people can use, but this one is generated right inside the MLS, and it's a fairly quick and easy way to do a comparative market analysis. But often people, and I also, extrapolate above and beyond that. Let's see if I can get it up here. It seems to have disappeared for me. Hello, CMA.
Mhm.
There it is. Okay. So when doing these, we often look for some parameters around the property, like the number of square feet, the age it was built, and of course number of bedrooms, things like that. But it's most important that it's inside the same area. That's the biggest thing. Is you want homes that have sold in the same area. If it's outside the area, gee, that just really doesn't help you very much because in those cases, you're trying to compare something that was in Tacoma with Seattle. It just doesn't match, and I guess you can guess why that's the case. Okay, now here it's not showing for me. Why is that the case?
I'm
You're seeing it on
well. I'm seeing
screen?
the comparative market analysis, but it's like just the top half of the page. It looks like it ends at 3 to 4 bedrooms on my screen.
Okay, boy, sorry. Sometimes this does work and sometimes it doesn't. Let me.
Technology.
Yeah, we didn't have. I didn't get a chance to practice this live. Let's see if I can. I'm going to take it off of sharing and see if that's going to help. There we go. Okay. Now if I can open up. There we are. CMA report. Now I'm going to go back to sharing, and I think we'll be fine. Okay. Ah,
Looks like, can you scroll down the screen, Jim? Or there you go.
I think I
There
can.
you
I
go.
just wonder if I can, if it stays. Okay, so yeah, and the number of days of market also matters. So let me just go real quickly through some of these things because we're going to make this pretty quick. This is a one-line view of a lot of the data, and as you can see here, we've got both active properties and sold properties. We also have one each of pending and expired properties. So this gives you a good mix of what things are on the market for right now and what things have sold. So that's where the rubber meets the road is, did someone actually buy it at that price? So the things that are probably the most important to look at here are, and let's see if I can highlight it, this number here, the CDOM, which stands for cumulative days on market, and that means it may have been listed once or twice or 3 times, but as long as it was relatively consecutively, it's going to matter. It's going to count as those days keep clicking and adding up. So notice that there are a number of them here that in the sold properties that were only on the market 4, 6, 7 days, but you have a couple that are 57, 100 days. And if you look over here to this SPLP, that's the sales price or list price to sales price ratio, meaning what it was originally listed for, what did it actually sell for. So someone bought this home here, for example. It's really small. I hope you can see it at 96%, 96.29% of what it was listed for. So they got a little bit of a discount, and often that's what people. Buyers' expectations are, we'll make an offer, it'll be less than the full price, and we'll get some kind of a deal, some discount off of that price. But this market in Seattle is so hot, you'll see here that 3 out of these properties went for above the list price. They sold at 105%, 103%, 107% of the list price, which when people offer more than the list price, that's almost for certain that there was competition, multiple offers. So that also is an important indication of property values in specific areas. So I did these comparable market analysis for a fictitious home in Green Lake that was going to be these are clients of mine that bought this home back, say, in 2006 for $900,000 to try to come up with a value as to what it is now. And here are the automated values that it came up with, and that's without doing any kind of adjustments for improvements or any things like that. And they're really based on the averages of these numbers. So you still need to do some analysis in order to come up with the actual numbers of what they should be. So anyway, there's a fair amount of data that you can get through this, but I wanted to share with you another way that we can help come up with general values, even if they're not specific, because they often support each other one way or the other. We'll know if we're getting pretty accurate. If this works well and matches well when we do this, some other processes. And one that I like to use that's become more popular is the Zillow sales site. So they have a really good neighborhood value system, and I'll share that with you. They're not so good at values of individual homes, but in terms of aggregate information about neighborhoods, they're actually pretty darn accurate. So what you do is you go to the Zillow website and you go under the tab that says local. I hope you can see that up there, and then you click on home values. Now, I already typed in Seattle, so it just went there automatically, but you'll need to type the area you're looking at here in this little box here. Now, what's great about this is you can do neighborhoods too. So we'll do this fictitious Green Lake one just to get an idea here. So Green Lake, Seattle, Washington, and enter, and boom. So now it's giving me very specific data to Green Lake. And here's what's cool about this. Not only is it specific to the neighborhood, but it gives me a graph that shows what the median sales prices have been for a long period of time. It's either 1 year, 5 years, and the max is 10 years. So I can see from this graph, and if I mouse over it, you see it'll actually, where the little dot is on the line, that shows what it was at that point in time, the median price value for that neighborhood. So using my example of my client's purchase in August of 2006, you can see right along here they bought, you can see where they bought towards the climb of the market right before it peaked in 2008, and then there was a real slide virtually everywhere in America, and then it's been climbing again, and now you can see values are actually 2015 are higher than what they were in 2006.
So it looks like it's projecting values because it had December 2000.
It projects from a little bit forward, but it also does historical 10 years back.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty handy. So what's interesting about this, in August 2006, the median value in that, let me pull it up here, August 2006, the median value, I don't know if you can see up above, it says Green Lake was $513,000. Well, my clients bought a $900,000 home, so it's not the same. But what's interesting is that the percentage of change is actually very, very close. So if I take that $513,000, which was the median then, and compare it to the median now, which would be February 2015, where's February, of 591. So if I divide those out, let me show you how that looks. I divide that 513 into 591 from when it was, so the change there from those times, it's going to end up with about 15%, 15.2% gain in value. So if I take that number and put it with the 900,000 they actually paid, and then make that and multiply it by that, I then come up with an approximate value now of $1,036,800. So this is a great way. Again, there's no alteration here for updates or changes or any other market conditions, but it gives you a ballpark. If I take this information and compare it to the other market analysis information, and they are within 1 or 2%, I know I probably dialed it pretty close, and all I need to do then is really work on adjustments. I think at that point you kind of are at the point where you don't need to do a whole lot more to get a pretty accurate value of the home. So that's my little trick for ways for people to do their own home market analysis. The Zillow part is totally public information. The other stuff, you're probably going to want a realtor, or maybe you might even want to pay for an appraiser to do it. That's up to you. Realtors will almost always do comparative market analysis for free. We'd love your business and be able to help you market the home if you decide to sell. So that's one of those services we offer is an incentive for you to list your property with us. But appraisals are going to run you $200 or $300. But again, most people don't bother to go that far because they're pretty close, unless they're needing to do financing, and then again they order it through a bank. You wouldn't want to go get an appraisal on your own and then go to the bank and say, "Here's my appraisal," because they'll probably make you go get another one and pay for another one. So
we can't even look at it. Lenders can't even look at it. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's really everything's changed in that whole market. But there's no doubt there's values to getting appraisals at times, especially if you've had some reason to want to challenge what someone else has said the value of your property is. but probably half the time the people who end up getting those appraisals are disappointed because it just as well might confirm what they're challenging and not their own. There's no control over that. So that's it for today. Rhonda, you got any other questions about it?
No, I think that was really interesting, Jim. Do we want to talk about our upcoming class?
Oh yeah, let's do that. We've got a home buyer seminar coming up again. Boy, that last one we did in Lake Forest Park was great. That's a great facility they have there next to Third Place Books. But our next one is in Shoreline, right?
Right, right. And that one's also at the public library there. And it's on March 7th. I say that uncertainly. I shouldn't do that. It's on March 7th.
No, I think you're right. I think it's Saturday, March 7th, and it's at the Shoreline Library that's on 175th there. So it's just off of the freeway. It's actually, if you're coming from Seattle, you want to come to it and you're not right out in Shoreline, it's real easy to get to and great parking. So that's probably even easier than when we do one right in the heart of Seattle, because then parking sometimes can be a bear. Right. So. It's from, what time is it?
11 to 4, and you bring pizza. Pizza compliments of Jim.
Yep, that's right.
Or something like that, yeah.
And so I don't have it to flick on screen here, but the registration for that is homebuyerseminars.com/registration, and that will get you to a Eventbrite place to register, and that way we know how many people are coming and everything like that. Tell them a little bit about what's the Washington State Finance and Commission stuff that comes with that.
Sure. Well, students who attend the class, and it is a free class, are eligible for different programs that are offered through the Washington State Housing Finance Commission approved lenders, which I am one of them. But the programs are great, and they're conventional and FHA programs with reduced mortgage insurance premiums, competitive pricing, and what's nice about them is they also offer down payment assistance. And you don't need to be a first-time home buyer to qualify. And they have several different types of down payment assistance that may be available as well. They also have mortgage credit certificates. You're eligible for that as well. So it's a great program. And on top of that, you also learn about the whole home buying process. Jim and I, cover it pretty in-depthly in that 5-hour time.
Yeah, it's really a great deal. I mean, the price is right, but it's free. But if you're wanting to know more about the home buying process, or get that certification, so you might qualify for one of those enhanced programs where you get a little bit off of interest or mortgage insurance, that kind of thing. Absolutely worth your time. And we're also going to be doing one in April at the, I want to say, Finney Ridge Library. It's actually the Greenwood Library there on about 80th and Greenwood, up there next to Wing Domes and right along that area where all those great shops and restaurants are. Anyway, I don't remember the date on that one. I was wondering.
I want to say it's April 18th.
I do too. I think it's 17th, 18th. It's the Saturday on that weekend. So yeah, if that's a better time for you, we'll have the registration for that one up and available very soon too. So anyway, everybody, thanks for stopping by today. And if you have any questions on CMAs, or if I can help you anyway on any of this kind of stuff, feel free to call or email me or text me, and I'll get back to you and assist any way I can. So thanks so much, and also don't forget to catch Rhonda's mortgage blog. What's that again? Porter?
Oh, Mortgage Porter. MortgagePorter.com. Yeah.
Yeah. So you can find her there as well. Anyway, thanks very much, everybody. Have a great day.
Yes.
Bye.
Have a great one. Bye.